VJ Edgecombe was awesome tonight. We got the debut of Ace Bailey in Utah. 3 for 13 from the field. What does it mean? Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, before we get into this, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I've got so much to say tonight. It's 12:16. I was hoping to get to bed earlier. That ain't happening. All right, let's talk about Jazz Sixers. If you were like me, you were looking forward to this game for a while, whether you're a Sixers fan or a Jazz fan, but obviously Jazz fans who had tanked the entire season, although the Sixers did for most of the season as well. Some of that wasn't on purpose, though. But Utah tanks this entire season. They go through the draft process, all the drama of Omar Cooper and everything and whatever. And Jazz fans finally get to see Ace Bailey, and the anxiety was palpable. The cheers for Ace Bailey as he was in the line was exciting. You could tell that Jazz fans were just so excited. I watched a little bit as I was writing my recap for SLC Dunk. By the way, you can go read that there. If you're not reading SLC Dunk on the daily, what are you doing? But anyways, I saw some of the clips from Ace. I watched the post game with Ace Bailey, and he talked about how those cheers and things made him even more nervous. Gabriel, I agree. By the way, Gabe, I think you were talking about writing for SLC Dunk. Hit me up. Are you still interested? But anyways, it was a crazy night. We usually talk about the other team first, and then we'll talk about the Jazz. I got a lot of thoughts. VJ Edgecombe was really good tonight. I mean, his three-point shot wasn't falling, and he still managed to score. Let's see, VJ, I'm on the wrong one here. And you know what? By the way, I might just do these. I'm not going to worry too much about stats and changing screens that much anymore. It seems to be fine. You're going to have to look at my face. And you know what? Someone mentioned in one of the comments about you're going to see glares in my eyes, okay? It's just is what it is, okay? I got to stop reading comments sometimes because sometimes people say craziest things to me. All right. It's fine. I know everyone's trying to help. Whatever. All right. VJ Edgecombe tonight, 13 for 27 from the field. He's going to get all of the love, all of the highlights, all of the tweets when they talk about VJ Edgecombe are going to be the 28 points he scored. It took 27 shots. Now, I think his three-point shot will be fine. He goes 1 for 7. If you're a Sixers fan, you got to be pretty happy about what you saw because he got to wherever he wanted. And what is that sign, KG10? That is cool. I don't know how you did that, but that is sweet. What is that? 25 experience. I don't know. Whatever that is, it's cool. Some new YouTube thing. But anyways, let's get back to this recap. VJ Edgecombe, 13 for 27. He scored 28 points on 27 shots. So we got to kind of face that reality a little bit. He was great, though. I didn't know it was 27 shots until I got home. I was actually at the game tonight. By the way, shout out to everyone who came and said hi. A couple people came and said hi. Shout out to you guys. That's always fun. If you ever want to come up to me and say hi, do it. I'm always willing to say hi. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, is someone going to come and punch me in the face? Maybe one of these times. But anyways, come and say hi. I always am happy to say hi and talk Jazz. But anyways, VJ Edgecombe, the things that I thought were interesting that were great was his athleticism was on display. And you had the Jazz guards trying to prove something defending him. I mean, Elijah Harkless, Isaiah Collier, they were going at VJ, and he was still able to get where he wanted to on the floor. The handle looked pretty great. He got to lots of spots, and he was hitting mid-range jumpers, driving to the basket, all sorts of things. He looked really solid. The three-point shot wasn't falling, 1 for 7. He did have 10 rebounds, though, and 4 assists. So if you're a Sixers fan, you got to be happy about what you saw. He really did a lot of things that make you happy. Now, if you wanted to nitpick, I guess we talked about the three-point shot. Also, 1 for 3 from the free throw line. It's not that he missed the 2 free throws, which he did, but it's that he only took 3. He had the ball in his hands a lot, and he did not get to the free throw line much. I mean, you compare that to, I think VJ took 2 free throws tonight. He only took 3, was Edgecombe. So, I don't know. That's interesting to me when you got the ball in your hands and if you want to be an efficient scorer in the NBA, you need to get to the line a little bit more than that. I don't know if that's really something to really worry too much about. And it is just one summer league game, but something if you're a Sixers fan, I would watch that just to see, like, is he creating contact? Is he kind of being physical when he goes to the rim? I think some of the question marks with Edgecombe were a little bit of his finishing. Obviously, he can dunk the ball, but does he finish through contact and things like that? I don't know. Something to watch. But you cannot complain about Edgecombe. He was great. Janai Broom. I kept calling him Johnny Broom, and then I heard the announcer say Janai Broom or something like that. So I think it's Janai. But anyways, he was pretty darn solid for them. He absolutely looked like a wrecking ball inside against the Jazz bigs. Although I have to say, man, it doesn't seem to take a lot to kind of bully Kyle Filipowski. That was disappointing tonight. My goodness. Like, Adam Bona looked like Joel Embiid tonight against Filipowski. So did Janai Broom. I don't know what to take from that if I'm a Sixers fan, because Filipowski was... we've got some things to talk about, Jazz fans. KG10 to TH $5. Thank you so much, my man. I really appreciate it. The donations are incredible. Glad to have Ace, but also had some villain envy tonight. He got where he wanted. It's true. VJ was impressive. And, the thing about VJ is his athleticism and his quickness he can get where he wants. He is so fast. I think I heard someone describe him as like an athlete that learned to play basketball, and it really does look like it. Some of the things look very mechanical with him, but man, he looked smoother to me than a lot of the things I watched when I watched his college tape. Another thing is there's more space in the NBA, and VJ took advantage, which I guess shouldn't be surprising. I mean, he's an elite NBA athlete, and so you give him NBA spacing, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised that he got where he wanted, So pretty impressive stuff. Now, we're going to talk about Ace and VJ. One of the things, and this is something I've noticed too, like when you watch Nike Hoop Summit, and we're all watching that. I'm sure you guys are, right? Doing your homework, watching some AJ DeBonsa, Mikel Brown. We got to watch the film. What's his name? Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer. The thing that I've kind of learned watching these things, and especially in a game like this where it's obvious the Jazz have had 4 or 5 days of practices or whatever it is, it hasn't been a lot of time practicing together. So really you're throwing all these players together, and the players that succeed. Sorry, guys, it's late. We're back, baby, with lives and me yawning because it's 12:23. What I've noticed with these things is that the players that have the ball in their hands tend to do better. We shouldn't be that surprised that VJ Edgecombe has a nice night. I mean, he had to succeed, which he did, but he also had the ball in his hands. Ace Bailey did not have the ball in his hands tonight. He was playing off the ball, and so his night was very much dependent on everyone else. And so that was a little disappointing because I would have liked to see him get some actions. And so I have a lot of questions for the Utah Jazz coaching staff tonight. Like, what was the goal tonight? Because it kind of felt like they were just letting everyone get equal time as if this is some sort of junior Jazz Pee-wee game, AAU. What are we doing? Utah had, and some of the struggles for Ace Bailey tonight. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what was like. Were you trying not to have anyone play over 25 minutes? Because if you guys go here, you know what? No, I don't want to bring it up tonight. But if you go to the top, 1, 2, 3, 6 players for the Jazz who had minutes tonight, they were all within 1 minute of 1 or 2 minutes of 25 minutes in this game. Ace Bailey, 24-47. Cody Williams, 25-25. Kyle Filipowski, 24-51. Collier, 25 minutes and 1 second on the dot. Walter Clayton Jr., 25 minutes and 7 seconds. It's clear they were trying to kind of spread these minutes out, I guess, which I guess makes sense to some extent because you've got Salt Lake City Summer League and then you've got Las Vegas Summer League. I am a lot like Jazz fan. Jazz fans wanted to see Ace Bailey tonight, and Jazz fans want to see Ace Bailey succeed. And I feel like the Jazz have done everything perfectly up until this point, setting up Ace Bailey to succeed. They allow Omar Cooper Jr. to be a guest coach for Summer League. They do a great job of just kind of walking the red carpet out for him to bring him onto the team. Things have looked great. And then tonight happened, and it was a little bit of like, what is our purpose and goal tonight? And I got to talk about that too, KG10TH5, because I think there was some Ace Bailey just being tired, and I forgot his name. The Jazz coach who was coaching tonight talked about his defense kind of falling off with being tired. And, it could literally just be an altitude thing for Ace Bailey when he was looking pretty gassed. There were a lot of players that looked gassed, to be honest. Like, Utah came out with real intensity to start this game, and they built a 12-point lead at one point. And then I think they did kind of run out of gas. I was impressed. But let's just start from the top like we do. We're back, baby. Back with recaps. Cody Williams, like I said, 25 minutes tonight. He was 5 for 12 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it's 2 for 6 because, well, I guess not. But he had the ball in his hands for a surprising amount. It was pretty mixed, and it leaned more towards not great with the ball in his hands than it was with the ball in his hands. It was obviously a point of emphasis because it was happening. Like, I guess this is happening. Cody Williams, primary ball handler going on. Primary ball handler Cody Williams in this one ended with 1 assist. He did have 14 points, and I will say he was aggressive. The defense looked pretty good. Honestly, that's his selling point right now is the defense. And, the offensive numbers were very bad last season. The offensive numbers, you just can't find good. Believe me, I've looked. There are not like good things to find there. Like in my yard, I've grown some raspberries, and finding successful raspberries on my raspberry bushes with the magpies out there is about as is like what it was like watching Cody Williams have some positive offensive plays last season. There just ain't a lot of raspberries on that raspberry bush. But in this game, there was a little bit more raspberries. Okay? 2 for 6 from 3. Not horrible with the ball in his hands. He made some... Scott Morrison, that's his name, KG10. You're exactly right. And everyone should go watch that interview. I'm not going to lie. That interview was not... Yeah, it wasn't my favorite interview. I think if you go to JP Chunga, his Twitter, you can find the interview and watch that. But anyways, I would say that there was some encouragement tonight from Cody Williams. There was an emphasis. He was aggressive. I think the biggest thing that was super scary last season, aside from just not the very not good numbers, was the very not good aggressiveness. He was just not aggressive last year, extremely passive, and there were so many times with Cody Williams that he just kind of disappeared. If you had one bright spot with his actual on-court play last season, it would have been on the defensive end. There were times where he looked pretty good. He knew, for the most part, where to be. He is long. He is pretty, he's like 6'6" or something like that, and he's pretty long. And he would make defensive plays here and there. And I felt like his defense tonight was pretty solid. He was an even plus minus. I thought there were some encouraging signs there. I thought the Jazz defense in that first half overall was encouraging because they were playing with much more emphasis and much better than they did last year. Because last year, the last 2 seasons, the Jazz have been dead last in defense. And so that is something they've got to do better at. But, I would say let's watch Cody Williams this summer league and see how he does. It's game 1 of Salt Lake City Summer League. There's still 2 games left. And don't forget for Ace Bailey, too, it's game 1. There's 2 more Summer League games here in Salt Lake. And I don't even really think a lot of media really thinks about Summer League until Las Vegas Summer League starts anyway. So maybe we can think about these Salt Lake City Summer League games as like warm-up Summer League. I don't know. But it was certainly not quite what Jazz fans probably hoped for when this all started. Gabriel, you're right about Elijah Harkless. That was... Okay, let's just get into it. Where do I want to go? Okay. Ace Bailey, he's number 2 on the Jazz box score, so we're going to talk about Ace Bailey. I was so excited. I brought my son Gray. We were just so excited. Gray asked me about 10 times if he can buy an Ace Bailey jersey. And if we, as a Jazz fan family, are any indication of Jazz fans, I think everyone else was the same. You could just feel the anxiety and tension and excitement in the crowd to watch Ace Bailey. Every time he shot the ball and took a layup, when they were warming up, you just heard the crowd cheer and gasp and I gotta say, I was happy to be there in person and just because I wanted to, because it felt like it was important and it was like the beginning of something. He's big. Like Ace Bailey's pretty big. You know, the whole 6'10" thing and everyone calling him 6'7" now. Guess what? NBA players play basketball with shoes on. I don't know if you guys were familiar with that. So him measuring at 6'7.5" barefoot is like 6'8", 6'9", and he is every bit 6'8", 6'9" when he plays. He has size, and it's good size. I was that was what I was impressed with. And you know, it's funny, like we talk about his handle, it's kind of when he drives that handle gets a little squirrely, because when you watch him warm up and you watch him just in certain situations, it's fine. Like his handle when it comes to like pulling up and shooting is actually fine. It's when he drives to the basket. And I think that's going to be a big thing for him, is just, can he get to where he's driving to the basket and not losing the ball? Because I think, and I don't think this, it's pretty clear that him not driving to the basket is because he's afraid he's going to lose the ball. Like it's going to pop out and he's going to lose it. He's just going to, if he can fix that, and that's an if, I guess, because some players just never really improve that handle. I think he can, because I think when you see him warming up and when you see him in like ISO situations, he does seem to be able to like put the ball through his legs and pull up and fire. And I think he defaults to that because I think he is nervous of losing the ball driving to the basket, which makes sense. You know, players tend to lean towards what they're comfortable doing. And I just really hope that he works and works and works at driving to the basket and handling the ball while he drives. Because if he can, guys, he's got everything you want. He really does. The size is there. The length is there. He's got a 7-foot plus wingspan at 6'9" with shoes, whatever he is, 6'10" maybe. I don't know. Get some extra thick soles and he's 6'10", okay? But he's very big, he's very long, and he's very athletic. Like, let's just talk about the positives right now. The positives for me with Ace Bailey begin on the defensive end. There was one point I watched him go over a screen. He was covering a 2-man pick and roll, and he was guarding the ball handler and went over the screen and stuck to his man. And at 6'9" to be able to do that is impressive. It just shows that he has some real functional athleticism. It's nice. It's why he's such a highly touted prospect, is because how smooth he moves at that size and length. It's great. And he tied for the team lead in rebounds tonight with 7 in 25 minutes. Why isn't, by the way, I'm going to be honest, this is not, if you're a Kyle Filipowski fan, this might not be the one to listen to, because I have questions. How is Kyle Filipowski not leading the team in rebounds? How is Ace Bailey with 7 rebounds beating out Filipowski? Maybe Filipowski is taking on the bigger defender, and that opens things up for other people to rebound the ball, but man, not great. But Ace Bailey, 7 rebounds. He also had a steal and a block, and that blocked shot was like impressive. It was a high flyer in the half court, weak side shot block. It was awesome. There is some real reason after tonight to be excited about Ace Bailey's floor. I kind of talked before this draft started, and, I guess there was just some reasons to be worried about him because, if the decision making, the handle, and the shot making doesn't really happen, then, it was easy to be like, wow, maybe he could be out of the league at some point if he doesn't figure those things out. But after watching tonight and how he rebounds the ball and how he plays defense, and his on-ball defense was really good. Like, he moved his feet pretty well. He has a chance to be a really good defender, guys. Like, if he really embraces that, if he gets in, like, just peak physical shape so he's not getting gassed too quickly, he has a chance to be a really impressive defensive player. Holy cow. Tonight, if anything, just emphasized that. That was great. He also, let's see here. So, Ace Bailey, let's see, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 assist. The assist was, pretty decent. It was kind of him getting bailed out a little bit, but he found the open man and they scored the ball. So, good. Now, let's talk about, I guess, the bad. His shot was not falling, but some of that, I think, was his fault a little bit, but some of that was also his teammates did him no favors tonight. You mentioned Elijah Harkless. Like, he took an open corner 3 tonight, and it looked really good. The 3 shots Bailey made, one was him driving to the basket and getting a putback. He missed the initial layup, which I think even watching that layup, he's got some work to do where with his just like his footwork going to the basket. Has some real work to do. KG10, talking about VJ also played 29 minutes. I don't know. VJ had a great night. We can't say enough about VJ. He was really good. There were some things you could nitpick, but VJ was really good. Can't argue. VJ was like the best player on the floor tonight, no question. I gotta raise my seat. By the way, this is live for you. I bought a new seat. I gotta just put it together. Anyways, his shot was not falling. And I think if you watched that game and as closely as Jazz fans did, his teammates and coaches did him no favors tonight. So Ace makes that one shot where it was basically a putback off of his own miss, which kind of showed his rebounding. The second shot he made, or I can't remember which order it came in, but the next shot that was made was this curl, and Scott Morrison talked about it in his interview, and I kind of was like, why didn't we do this more? Ace comes off of a little curl play. They called it like a stat curl or whatever. It is just a curl. He curls over, rises up, basically free throw line area, and it just looked incredible. It honestly looked so smooth and so nice. And I just wondered, like, why wasn't there more of that? Why was there an emphasis tonight on guys like Elijah Harkless? And, Jaden Springer played, but Jaden Springer's been in the league at least 2 or 3 seasons. I don't know how old he is, and someone can let me know if I'm wrong. Whatever, but, 18 minutes for Elijah Harkless tonight, and he had the ball in his hands a lot. And it was not very good. He was 1 for 5 from the free throw line. He did get 6 free throws. 1 for 5 from the field, though. It wasn't great. He struggled to get the ball past half court. And if you're Ace Bailey and your coaching staff decides that you're going to play off the ball, it wasn't great. And I know there's only a few days to create plays, and so that's really hard for Utah to do. And if you watch all the interviews and things that they talked about, like they were trying to set up defensive principles. What, if anything, we saw tonight was that the Jazz focus has been defense, because their defense was good tonight, and it was good enough to win the game because the shooting wasn't all that great, although it did get better in the second half, outside of like Bryce Sensabaugh. But Ace Bailey got no favors from the coaching staff tonight in terms of setting him up to score easy buckets. Like, VJ got a lot of easy ones tonight too. Like, and that was some of his own work, like rebounding and things like that. Ace got like nothing easy. There was like outside of like the 2 shots he made that were easy was an open corner 3, and he knocked it down. It looked smooth and nice. And that pull-up mid-ranger off the curl, he caught the ball in stride, pulls up, and just like, it looked so good, you know? Now, it might have been a little bit of being just tired. Maybe he's a little gassed, needs to work on his conditioning, which I'm sure that's part of it. But some of it, too, was like, why wasn't there more of an emphasis in this game? I wrote about it in the recap. Utah tanked all year last year. And when we say tank, I guess we've got to emphasize what tanking means. Utah manipulated lineups with veterans on the team to lose tonight. Like, sat players and lost a lot of games on purpose to get a top prospect in the draft. They obviously wanted Cooper Flagg, but Ace Bailey is a really nice consolation. We heard so many stories about how frustrated Ryan Smith was when they lose the lottery, and how like devastating that was, and the emotions of that, and blah, 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 you know. And guess what? Utah still ended up with Ace Bailey through a lot of chance and luck, and Omar Cooper trying to push him to Washington, and Utah, you know, got to give him credit for taking the risk to make that pick, and it all works out. But you do all this to get this top prospect, and then you run like 2 curl plays? Like, Ace Bailey sat in the corner for good chunks of this game. And what was annoying was that if you watch the game, like, you've got 2 corner, and it's not like they were running horns where it's like one, although they might as well have been, I guess, because they might have well been running horns for Elijah Harkless, Jazz. My gosh. But whatever, you know, the sets they're running, it wasn't horns, obviously, but horns is when you're running things with James Harden. But they were running plays, and you have Ace Bailey on one side and another player on the other. And almost every single time you're watching Isaiah Collier or Elijah Harkless, if Ace Bailey's here, they're going here. This way, not this way. They were not going this way. They were going this way. And the times where they did, like, if you ran a set and you ran a curl, it went well. But I can't tell you how many times I watched them go away from Ace Bailey to run actions on the other side. Like Cody Williams, Isaiah Harkless, or Elijah Harkless, Isaiah Collier were running away from Ace. And I don't know if that means like Ace is just a guy that takes the ball and shoots it, and they're avoiding it. Like, they know they're not going to get the ball back, but it's either his teammates or coaching staff that did not have things set up for him to succeed there. So it was weird. It was really weird. And to hear like Scott Morrison talk about like, oh yeah, that curl play looked really nice. Yeah, it did, didn't it? Why didn't we do more of that? Is that just me? Like, why just once? If you are not going to put the ball in Ace Bailey's hands, then why aren't you running more sets to set him up? What are we doing? Like, I don't really get the point of running isolations with Cody Williams. I guess we're trying to figure out things with Cody Williams over Ace Bailey, maybe. But it certainly seemed like there were guys that were running things with each other because they had played all of last season together and not playing through Ace Bailey. And I didn't love it, to be honest. And maybe I should have seen this coming. It's something I guess I'm going to remember in the future. But, you know, guys, you know, you got to give credit to Bryce Sensabaugh. He hit a lot of shots tonight. But I didn't really learn anything new from... Did anyone learn anything new from Bryce Sensabaugh? Are we really surprised that Bryce Sensabaugh can shoot the ball? He shot the ball well last season. He did. I'm not surprised. I mean, I guess it's nice to see him do it in Summer League, but we know he can shoot the ball. What I want to see from him is he moving the ball? Is he defending? Well, Sensabaugh tonight, 1 assist, zero steals. I don't know if I really learned a lot about Bryce Sensabaugh outside of that. Like, it's nice to see. I think Bryce Sensabaugh is an NBA shooter, that's for sure. I don't know if there's anything outside of that. And, you know, the one thing that you would have liked to see from Bryce Sensabaugh is less turnovers. But guess what we saw tonight? Bryce Sensabaugh, 5 turnovers. Do you know how many turnovers Ace Bailey had? 0. And some of that is because he just didn't get the ball. But Bryce Sensabaugh had, like, for all the shooting and all the nice shot making and blah, 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 he had 5 turnovers. And that has been the thing that we watched all last season, was that the turnovers were just terrible. And it happened again. So I don't think I learned anything new about Bryce Sensabaugh. Kyle Filipowski, 8 for 11 from the field. People will mention the 22 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. I didn't learn anything new that was good about Kyle Filipowski tonight. I mean, it is good that he scored those points. That's great. The defense was terrible. He cannot play center. Holy smokes, can he not play center, at least defensively. It was bad. And like we talked about that kind of that dog factor. Oh, on defense, Filipowski does not have that dog in him. Okay? It is not good. And you see it, it's, you know, this is good for me. I probably should go to more games in person and get up close, but they don't give me a credential. So I ain't paying for season tickets, okay? Because I do this at night. I like watching on TV, but man, guys, the defense with Filipowski is bad. And I tell you what, it's so bad that I don't know how you play him. I don't know. Like maybe if you're trying to play catch up and you put him in there at 5 to just get some shooting, because he did knock down a 3. What was he? He was 2 for 4 from 3 tonight, which is nice to see. Offensively, there's a lot of gifts. Defensively, it feels like he gives everything back. And I don't think it's surprising that he's a 0 plus minus, because all of the good he does on offense feels like it just gets completely given back on the defensive end. The rebounding's not good enough. The rim protection is non-existent, and there's just not a lot of resistance kind of physically. Like Adam Bona got the ball at the 3-point line multiple times, and near the end of the game they were running the offense through Adam Bona. And he was scoring. Like he was driving at Filipowski, he was moving him at will and scoring. And if Filipowski wants to succeed, he has got to have more physical resistance on that defensive end. Has to. You don't have to be Rudy Gobert defending the rim, but you at the very least need to be providing some physical resistance to guys driving to the basket, and it's not there. So as Filipowski goes into year 2, I hope there's more strength there, and especially leg strength. My gosh, it was not good. Now you come and KG10, you're kind of mentioning that. Like, why doesn't Isaiah get benched when he throws a behind the back pass out of bounds? That's when Walt should have been put. Yeah, I agree. Walt was, by the way, we'll talk about Walter Clayton. 6 assists tonight was awesome. But, Ace Bailey doesn't play for most of the fourth quarter, and it's like, maybe it was the 25-minute thing. It really feels like they are just like, we're playing everyone 25 minutes and that's it. Maybe it's as simple as that. It could be. But I tell you what, when you see guys doing that, and, Collier tonight wasn't exactly great. 1 for 7 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. He did have 5 assists and 5 rebounds. And sorry guys. He does really set up the offense pretty well, and you can tell things are in better control, but he doesn't shoot the ball well. Utah really should have blown these guys out. But Collier couldn't shoot. It was not great. And I do think we got to see more and more of Walter Clayton Jr. because, from everything we've heard and podcasts I've done with different beat writers and things we've read, I don't know if the Jazz look at Isaiah Collier as starting point guard. I don't know. I think he may be a nice kind of backup point guard, but he's got to figure out how to score efficiently, especially in the half court. Because 1 for 7 from the field and 0 for 3 from 3 is not great. You would hope that Collier in Summer League year 2 would be doing better. People can say, oh, Ace Bailey didn't shoot the ball well. Well, his percentage was better than Isaiah Collier. and he was playing off the ball and was being looked off. And so some of those shots that Ace Bailey took, he was completely out of rhythm. He's just getting the ball, and I'm sure he feels like, man, I finally got the ball. I'm going to shoot it. You know, that's really honestly what it looked like at certain points, is like, I have the ball. I'm tired. I am in altitude. I have been playing hard defensively, but these guys aren't getting me the ball. I'm shooting this thing, you know? I was kind of just, it was too bad that one drive he made, it looked actually pretty good. Yeah, the ball kind of came out of his hand, but he recovered and he still got to the basket with his physicality. I tell you what, I'm more big on Ace Bailey now. I mean, obviously you would have hoped for him to just like play like Tracy McGrady and just score and be efficient and look awesome. That would have been better. But the defense we saw, the rebounding we saw has me pretty happy. I'm disappointed that he didn't get the ball in different situations to set him up to succeed. That's not, you know, that's on his teammates, and maybe the coaches wanted more of that and it just didn't happen. Coaches can't do the plays. Like, in the end, the players play the game, right? You can tell players to do all you want, and if they don't do it, it is, you know, then they get benched. And who knows, maybe we'll see some things, but Summer League is about development, you know, so maybe they were hoping to have Ace do some more things and the players just didn't execute it. It was a pretty chippy game too. We had like 2 fights, 2 or 3 scuffles, one between Collier and I think the other one was, I can't remember who it was. It was Harkless was getting into it with. Disappointed there wasn't more of the offense running through Ace Bailey. It felt like it was running through like everyone, and it was equal opportunity, and a lot of times that's good, and a lot of times that's a lot of players trying to earn minutes and contracts and spots on the team, you know. So sometimes you've got to set things up. So we'll see how things go. I was surprised how much the ball ran through Cody Williams. You know, if we're running the ball through Cody Williams, why aren't we running the ball through Ace Bailey a little bit as well, too? You know, I don't know. I'd like to see it. And maybe that's the Jazz trying to avoid him struggle. It could be very much that. And maybe I need to give the coaching staff some credit. They've been in the practices. They've done the scouting. They know what they're doing. I just was a little surprised at Ace Bailey not finishing the game. That was weird. That was really weird. And, you know, when you see Elijah Harkless and Isaiah Collier making these types of mistakes like KG10 is making, and Ace Bailey's on the bench, it left me scratching my head. So we'll see. It's one game. I was very, very excited about the defense we saw. I want to see more ways to set Ace Bailey up, set him up to succeed, because we saw what he could do. And that was getting the ball on the curl, getting a shot off, open threes, knocking them down. And then we'll just see him in isolation. I want to see more of that. He does lean towards taking tough shots, but he'll make them here and there. I want to see him learn how to make those, figure out how to get himself good shots, you know? And if you're not getting a good shot, then moving the ball within the offense. But that's what this is all about. It's experience, it's learning, it's growth, and we'll see that. But come on, Jazz, give him the ball. Okay. We've talked about Collier and Sensabaugh. Let's talk about Walter Clayton. He was really, really nice. He's a 4-year player in college, and he's a champion with the Florida Gators. He is a winning player. He just does a lot of good things. And one of that is shoot the ball. Now, 3 for 8 tonight. I guess if you talked about him shooting the ball well, he was just 3 for 8. He ended strong, though. The 3 for 8 was because he hit 2 big shots at the end of the game that really helped the Jazz win it. One of those was a 3. He goes 2 for 6 from 3. But where I was really impressed was on the defensive end. He just plays hard defensively. Tonight he had... you know what? They might not have credited him. He was just good defensively and tips balls and things like that. He didn't have any steals tonight, which I would have expected 2 or 3, but he had 0. But he plays hard defensively. And then what was really nice to see was the 6 assists. He just makes nice plays. The thing about having a guard like Walter Clayton Jr., and that gives him an advantage over Isaiah Collier, is that he is a shot maker. He is a 3-point shooter. he has a quick release. He can shoot catch and shoot. He can shoot off the dribble. And to see him get 6 assists, pretty exciting stuff, because when you have a player that can shoot it like he can score it like he can, and then if he shows that he can really run an offense, then at point guard you have something that's pretty nice. He's not super big, and I noticed that, he's just big enough that he's probably fine, but he can't really be. You can't have Isaiah Collier and Walter Clayton. It's just a fact in the NBA. Utah needs someone playing shooting guard. Like, honestly, by the end of this summer league, you know what I would like to see? We're not going to probably see it unless they decide that they don't need to play Isaiah Collier. But it would be nice to see Walter Clayton playing point with Cody Williams at shooting guard and Ace Bailey at the 3. To me, that would be nice to see, because I want to see, or Bryce Sensabaugh. What was the starting unit tonight? The starting unit tonight was Collier, Sensabaugh, Filipowski, Bailey, and Williams. I would like to see Walter Clayton get that starting spot and just see what it looks like. And I think it'll be pretty good. He can absolutely shoot it. Tonight, the numbers weren't like precise. I'm surprised they weren't a little more, but this was a weird game, guys. There was like fights. There were guys like competing for the ball. Elijah Harkless, I don't know if he was good for the Jazz tonight in a lot of ways. I don't think it helped the offense flow. I'm surprised they played him, to be honest. Like, what was the point? If we're talking Elijah Harkless, why did Elijah Harkless play at all? Like, I guess you need guys playing on the floor, but Utah gets RJ Lewis Jr. after the draft. I think he was undrafted. It was too bad that what's his name? Their draft pick has an injury already. What's his name? Tanji or whatever. He didn't play because he has some sort of hamstring or something like that, which sucks. Like, you don't even get to see him play. I would have preferred to see him over Elijah Harkless. I would have preferred to see RJ Lewis Jr. over Harkless. I would have preferred to see a lot of players over Harkless. I don't want to see Harkless play. I don't know. It's fine. I don't know if I see a path to Elijah Harkless playing meaningful, winning minutes for the Utah Jazz. I just don't know if I see that. And he just kind of threw a wrench in a lot of things. Yeah, the defense was pretty solid. He played tough, but VJ Edgecombe still scored 28. Okay? And this game came down to the wire. I would like to see Elijah Harkless's minutes go to Walter Clayton Jr. and Ace Bailey. And, I guess I keep looking at that 25 minutes thing, and that looks like a mandate to me. And so maybe Utah's trying to keep them fresh for the long haul of Summer League. I cannot wait to watch the next game because I want to see what happens and what adjustments. I would not be surprised if we don't see Elijah Harkless play. Just being honest. Can we see anyone play? John Tanji was out with injury. I want to see anyone over that because it was just not great. And I would rather see someone like RJ Lewis Jr. play off the ball. He was a really nice defensive player. I can't remember the college he was on. I think it was St. John's. I can't remember. But I would love to see someone like that play off the ball more. Have the ball in Walter Clayton Jr.'s hands more. And can we please let Ace Bailey have the ball in his hands a little bit and have him make some reads and start to do some development, because it was not great with Harkless. It just wasn't. And it didn't do anyone any favors. It just was not great. When you saw Collier and Clayton Jr. running the show, it was better. Like, Collier ran some nice things with I'm not very familiar with Sanogo, but he played for Utah, and honestly, is it bad that I kind of preferred watching Sanogo in the game more than Filipowski? I don't think it's like that surprising that Sanogo had a better plus minus than Filipowski. I don't know. I came away, I guess, and we're going kind of long here, but I don't mind. It was there was a lot to say, and I don't know if I got all my thoughts out, but that was basically what I felt. Jaden Springer, I didn't mind him playing. I'd prefer to see Springer than Harkless. I don't really know what the difference between playing those two guys is, other than I think Springer might be a better defender, and is not going to make as many. Just like they just had Elijah Harkless doing a lot, and they had Cody Williams doing a lot. And it feels weird to me when you've got Ace Bailey right there. You're trying to set him up, and it just didn't work. And maybe those guys are just not on that level to set him up. And so that's why I'd like to see a little more Walter Clayton Jr. ball in his hands, okay? Because, man, if you're going to have Ace Bailey playing off of the ball, and then you've got guys like Elijah Harkless and Jaden Springer and Cody Williams and them, like, making on-ball decisions, I don't think we should be surprised that things didn't go all that great for Bailey tonight. And despite all that, I felt like he still did pretty well. Like, he didn't play in that fourth quarter, pretty much. Like, they kind of pulled him at the beginning, and it was like, I guess, and they just didn't bring him back until like the last 8 seconds or whatever. And he got a rebound and then got to the free throw line. So it just, despite all these things, it felt like he really wasn't set up to succeed, which is disappointing because I feel like the Jazz have done such a good job of making good decisions with Ace Bailey up until now. And so that was kind of frustrating. But I guess that's all I got. Guys, Summer League is here. And it was really fun. I wanted Ace Bailey to be Michael Jordan on night 1, and it didn't happen. I'm sure every other Jazz fan felt the same way, but I felt like there was a lot of positives to be happy about. And so no fret, Jazz fans. I also feel like it will be cool to watch him play with other Jazz players. Utah does not have a playmaker on the team that is going to set everyone up perfectly. And so they got to develop Ace Bailey in some ways that might be a little painful this year, but you got to do it. All right, guys, thank you for being a part of the channel. Let's give a shout out to all our members, everyone who supports this channel. I truly appreciate it. If you'd like to support the channel, hit join. But the ones I really want to give a shout out to are the All-Stars. These are the ones that support the show. You're the producers of the show. Let's give our All-Stars their shout out. Let's give a shout out to Baby Elliott Madsen, Ryan Edward Perry, The Legend, Christian House Money to Haas, Robert Hall of Fame, Cam Bam, thank you, ma'am, Cam Chin 3, I Believe in Steve, Jazz Exile, See Ya, Lexalator, Jordan the Goat, Best Roll, Austin R. Grant, Editor Extraordinaire, KG10 to TH5, WCJ, or WC to AB, and Patrick Kubo, the Connoisseur. Thank you again, KG10, for that donation. I really appreciate it. Wow! My sound just came in stronger. Like and subscribe to the channel, guys. I will